So with the Odinot or Odino update, a lot of changes happened to infantry, and I'm actually quite happy with these changes. They remind me of some of the wargame mods from back in the day. Now, a quick little intermission here. Please do consider becoming a patron if you want to support content like this and gives me a little bit more creative freedom, and most importantly, supply me with coffee. Please. Please, I have a coffee addiction, I have an issue, and I need some positive reinforcements here. So for example, we have a Jaeger unit here. And this unit, costing 55 points in East Germany, is Special Forces. These are Special Forces. They take less suppression in combat, move faster, deal more damage, on top of being elite units themselves. So they are basically just, soldiers on steroids. Then we have the Shock ability, and basically what Shock does is inflict more suppression when fighting at CQC, including woods and urban terrain. So perfect for, town fights, basically for anything CQC related. These guys will do just fine. Then they are also airborne, which means that they can be deployed further ahead using forward deployment, but only during the initial deployment phase. And this was already a thing in the game, but it's nice to see that Special Forces and Shock abilities are being more fleshed out with this update. And we also have Resolute, which means they're highly motivated and they take less suppression in combat. So that is a really nice way of, adding on top of the veterans level. So just adding on to this. So we also have different types of units, such as leaders. And what leaders do is they grant +1 veterancy levels to all nearby units. And this is something that came from Steel Division. And I did honestly like this ability a little bit. Like it, in real life, if you have squads scattered around, but you have a leader unit or a command unit somewhere that is keeping them all organized, giving them orders, relaying news and relaying developments and all that kind of stuff. They'll be more motivated to fight and they'll just be in a better standing in general. And on top of that, they're also like elite forces, shock troops, airborne, and they're all quite resolute as well. Then you have base Modostrelakis, and these are basically just regular soldiers. They probably won't win against elite or shock troops, even if they are on the highest, veterancy here. They'll not have a good time. They'll definitely be more of like a supportive role in this game, to add more flesh to the front line next to elite and shock troops. So just using regular infantry on a front line against an opponent that uses elite and shock, you'll probably not have a good time. Another thing that has been added to this game are now IFV coupled infantry, or IFE infantry. They take less suppression in combat when near an infantry fighting vehicle, which is really cool. They don't actually have to stick to the BMP, they just have to stay in this zone to get extra defensive capabilities. So if you click on your BMP, it'll tell you where your infantry needs to be. So you kind of want to keep these guys close, but they don't need to be up their booty hole basically. So that is nice, I do like this change. I'm looking forward to that one. Look, we're doing an amphibious assault. How cool is that, man? Finally, I don't know why this wasn't a thing in the base game to begin with. Eugen, please. Now obviously the amphibious part of this update is one of the things that I am going to enjoy big time. I love doing amphibious attacks. It gives you so many opportunities, and on a map like this, for example, you're not just constrained to this area, or on the right side you can actually get some units over the water, get some infantry across to the other side and flank them from the rear. So they're taking a lot of things from Steel Division, which is good. They're obviously building up on the Wargame Red Dragon franchise with, a different take on it in terms of mechanics and stuff. And they're, taking some things from regiments, which is also nice. So the one thing that I would just like to see is buildings being less destructive, or even after being destroyed, they can still house some units. Or, just only house one squad, but offer less suppression protection. Just mainly because urban combat seems to just turn into RD and bombing runs, and it just kind of gets annoying at some point. But yeah, that is not the purpose of this video. So yeah, that is basically the main changes that they've added to the game, to Warno. So it's I like it. It's definitely a move into the right direction. We also have units that are reservists. They take more suppression in combat. So that is very, very important to note as well. So these guys are, yes, they are command units, but they might not be the best person on the front line. So you have to also pay attention to that when you go for command units. So this would be a good unit to literally only capture a position, but not be close to the, to places where you fight. Whereas these guys, the Jägerführers, are much better at that, and they can actually take some hits as well. Have these types as well, which are security units. And these are interesting. They increase their optics and identification levels to good when not moving, similar to recon units. although they remain an infantry squad. This is really cool. Like, they are not limited to leader units only. You know, it's basically just all military police units. Also some other changes that were promised but weren't added, such as FOBs being, you know, transportable, so you can have a big old helicopter like the Mi-26 actually plop down a load of supplies on the front line, acting as a forward operating base, which we have seen in mods such as in the Annihilation mod, for example, which was a really nice addition that mod brought to Wargame. So that is a really nice thing that I hope will be added very, very soon. Every soldier probably has a binoculars on him. Like, this dude has binocs on him. Is that a binocs or is that a claymore on his chest? I don't know. I hope it's a binoculars. But yeah, like most infantry squads will have one dude with binoculars, and so they should have some recon capabilities. And I think this is a way to introduce that to the game. For example, Machutsen optics, you know, normal. But having units with actual good optics when they stand still is really nice to see. And besides that, they're also, you know, good infantry units to be like a tripwire type of infantry. So yeah, I want to keep this one short. I will be diving into the game with some of the new units that they've added to the game. Definitely want to try this one out because they added cups and bucks now. And as you might have sensed from my from my Warno videos, I do not like how AA is in this game. So we're gonna give it a shot with like very high veterancy cubs and bucks and just Strelas and Iglos everywhere. Yeah, as you can see, we kind of went overboard with the AA. But yeah, that's it for this one. I will be playing the game right after basically stopping this recording. So yeah, stay tuned for more Warno.